Hey. It's your favorite curly space cadet, and we're back. And before the year ends, I wanted to get my Real Housewives of Salt Lake City episode 14 review out, you guys. So let's talk about it because the girls are giving. And Lisa is so up her own ass. And this pound cake from Kroger, I'm giving up gluten in the new year, guys, again. Pray for me. Pray for me. But until then, let's talk about Salt Lake City. So in Puerto Vallarta, and Whitney texts the girls to meet them for water aerobics, right? And then Lisa texts all the girls that there's breakfast in her villa, and then there'll be a hayride. That shouldn't say a hayride. There'll be a yacht ride later on. A hayride. And so while the girls are doing that, Bronwyn is in her room calling Todd because last night was just so much for her. And we gotta have to admit that Bronwyn is dramatic. Bronwyn is very dramatic. Very, very dramatic. So, but she's not wrong. Is she? She's not wrong. She's really not wrong, guys. As she's talking to Todd, Todd is on her side, agreeing that it was stupid for Lisa to call her snobby about the room situation, right? And so now we're back with Whitney, Angie, and Heather doing water aerobics. And I just think it's really funny of Whitney to tell Angie she has no rhythm and Whitney to think that she has the most rhythm of the girls. Because while you may swing around, that does not equate rhythm. Anyways, the joke I wrote in my notes was way worse than that one. We get to the real scene about talking about the night before. Like, they're done with the water aerobics. We get out of the pool and we sit down. And Whitney says she's starting to feel bad for Bronwyn. Because Bronwyn expressed her feelings and it seems like she doesn't have anybody on her side. No one stuck up for her. And then Heather jumps in and says, yeah, well, I feel bad for her because her husband isn't there for her. With the dog bite thing and how he didn't come to the hospital for her. And we get a flashback to Bronwyn telling us about that on the bus and how he was minimizing it. And it really took for Gwen to show him, like FaceTime him and show him all of the bite bruises for him to be like, oh, that's not so minimal. So he thinks you're minimal in life. Yikes. But he can make up for it with extravagant gifts. So she keeps telling us that we don't see the full scope of her relationship, but I feel like we do. We see a lot of it. We see enough at the moment. So if there are things that we don't see, that we don't know, maybe you can convince him like you convinced him to get on this show to show us those sides so we can have a different perspective. Maybe. I don't know. Maybe. So far right now, my perspective is what Heather's saying, unfortunately. And I hate Heather. But Heather is just saying maybe Bronwyn's marriage is a little toxic. And that is a little foreshadowing for the conversation we get later on that boat. But Heather is saying how she can relate to it because her ex was such a great guy publicly. And now she's taking this as what humanizes Bronwyn for her to be able to connect to Bronwyn's story, right? Because now that Bronwyn's marriage doesn't seem so, oh my God, perfect, I can connect to you because you got some things going on in your life too. So you're not, you're kind of like on my level, you know, you're not better than me. Heather is so insecure. Whew. Now they all start to meet up to get on this boat and you can tell Bronwyn is just like, I don't want to be in this bitch. What is this? Canvas bag? Fuck, I can use a canvas bag for. I don't even grocery shop my own groceries. I guess I can give it to the maid. That's what she should have, like, not made, because that would have come off really uncouth for her. But you could have said, I guess I can give it to the person who shops for my groceries. But you can tell that Bronwyn is in such a bad mood and she's going to crash out on this trip, and I can't wait. And it was a good crash out. Bad for her husband because she let it all hang out. She like let all the dirty laundry out. But it was good for us, the viewers, because it gave us something really enjoyable to watch. And so now we are on the bus ride to the yacht. It keeps changing my yacht to hatch. And why? I was typing too fast. And Meredith is sleeping, and I don't know why Whitney feels the need to pretend to play savior and wake Meredith up and ask her, oh my God, Meredith, are you sleeping? Well, did you just wake me up, bitch? I guess I was sleeping. I'm not anymore. Fuck, let her sleep if she sleep. And then we get a flash to the confessional where Britani is telling us that she's not surprised Meredith is tired. She heard her up all night crying and vomiting. And Britani, were you like this to the wall listening all night to what Meredith was doing? Because I feel like you were. Were you looking for a storyline, something to talk about today? And I say this because Britani was so desperate to tell anybody, she ran to Heather and told her immediately when they woke up. Britani's saying something is off with Meredith as she looks longingly into the camera. And maybe she was drunk and hungover. Maybe. We get to the yacht, and the yacht is named Best Day Ever. This is going to be the best day ever. It's named Best Day. But we get Meredith and Angie walking hand in hand because Angie is just a nice person. And Meredith was in need. So you know what? Angie to the mother effing rescue. I could see her with the Greek flag now, flying to save the girls. We get on the boat and we get the drinks flowing. We get the music going. And we're having a dance contest, you guys. None of these women have rhythm. And Bronwyn is sitting there judging them. I'm assuming that Bronwyn is sitting down judging because she just got mauled by a dog. So she's not probably in the best spirits to dance. So she's judging them and gives Britani an 8, Heather a TF. Heather starts clogging. Angie, what was that? And this boat has no rhythm because Mary's not there. Anyways, we get to the girls sitting down around talking, and Lisa starts talking about Jack being gone for the year, and Henry, he didn't want to make friends before, and he was being standoffish, and we get a soundbite of him saying it's just better off to be alone. Way too young to have that mindset. Way too young. Way too young. But apparently he's adjusting much better now. He has some new friends, and he's getting more attention from his family. So he's adjusting better to life now. Lisa and John are able to give him a little bit more attention, and that has really helped out. They've been catering to the things he wants to do. And as the girls are being a really good support system for Lisa and like being a good, great opening listening ear, you see Britani just steaming, fuming at the ears, saying, "This should be me. Why isn't this me? Why do the girls get to say whatever they are feeling? Why isn't this me?" You can see it going off in her head. And she chimes in and goes, "You guys, this isn't fair." She tells them, "This is not fair, you guys. I just opened up to you guys last night about reconnecting with my daughter, and you guys gave me dust. You guys didn't give me half of what you are giving Lisa, And so the girls are just like, well, we know Lisa better. We don't really know you. Maybe, they said a little softer than, okay, Bronwyn didn't say it soft at all. Bronwyn steps in and says, well, I know Henry. I don't really know your daughter. I don't really know you. So it's like a difference. And she's like, no, that's not true. And then she goes on to say, Britani is whining that she's not getting the same treatment as others. And Angie is telling her this was Henry and Lisa's moment, and you're kind of ruining, like you're interjecting into Lisa and Henry's moment. And Britani is like, I don't care, I'm hurt right now. And Bronwyn is sticking up for Lisa, saying, well, we don't know you, and do you like the idea of telling us an announcement versus the idea of actually hanging out with your daughter? Like, what's your goal right now in like letting us know these things? Because you just talking about it, you should be excited for the fact that you got with your daughter, not to tell us and look for the reaction that we gave. So what Bronwyn meant, but when it came out, it sounded like a fucking dagger. I'm not gonna even hold you. I'm not gonna even cry you. But she's not wrong. Britani, what are you looking for? Because your children would tell us you're looking for the attention of a man, which is wild. Wild. Yeah, it was a shitty thing to say, but Britani and Lisa, Bronwyn was sticking up for Lisa in the moment that Britani interjected her own self into. And as self-absorbed as Lisa is, Lisa should have understood that and been like, well, Britani, as mean as what Bronwyn said was, you were kind of stepping on a really important moment that I was sharing. As self-centered as Lisa is, you would have thought that she would have stood up and said that. But instead, this comes off really mean. Because Britani says, I don't get the luxury of seeing my kids like everyone else does here. And Britani calls Bronwyn a fucking bitch for saying that to Britani. And so Bronwyn sits back and just says, wow, Lisa, I sit here, stand up for you in what I thought would be something where you would appreciate it. Instead, I get called a bitch and you just sit and say nothing. I stand up for you and I get called a bitch for standing up for you. And you sit and you say nothing. Nothing. Lisa has the audacity to take the excuse of, well, I can't control what someone else says. No, you can't control what someone else says, but you know what you can do? You can stand up for a friend, and if I was your friend, if Bronwyn was your friend, you would have stood up for her in that moment. Bronwyn is clearly not your friend, and we clearly see it throughout this show. And Lisa keeps yelling at this girl. Lisa keeps yelling at Bronwyn. I've been a good friend to you. Where? Production, roll the tape if it's been there. But I haven't seen it. I know some other viewers who haven't seen it. I know Bronwyn hasn't seen it. So you tell me where. And I'll let you know it's not there. I've been hearing the consensus that Bronwyn is too up Lisa's ass for friendship. And I really do feel like Bronwyn came on the show thinking Lisa was her friend. And now she's just taken aback that Lisa is nowhere near the kind of friend that Bronwyn is to her friends. Because everything that Bronwyn has said has been true. Except for that little one slip up she did in the beginning. She's messy. She has her sides. But I can see what she's bringing to the show, Lisa, on the other hand, is Lisa thinks she is what Bronwyn is. I'm going to say it again. Lisa thinks she is what Bronwyn is. Wealthy. And so Lisa thinks she can get away with treating people however she wants. Without any recourse. And she's not wealthy, so it doesn't come off that way. It doesn't come off well with the friends you have. Because it sounds like you don't really do much for anybody. You don't listen to anybody. You don't care about their feelings. How are you really a friend to people? This just got into a little bit of a tangent against Lisa. I'm not a Lisa Barlow fan. She's a very self-centered person. She's good for the show, but I don't stan her. But now Lisa's tired of being called out for being a bad friend, and she twists her mouth to say, I don't always ask for people to stick up for me, and I don't need anybody to stick up for me. Okay. Remember that later on in the episode where you get upset. Because Bronwyn goes on to say that no one has taken the time to get to know me on a personal level. Like, everyone has made these assumptions about who I am, what my marriage is, without even actually trying to have a conversation with me and get to know me on a personal level. And then she starts to break down and cry. And she says, no one has taken the time to get to know me, how it is to be a stepmom, how it is to be with a super successful guy, and to deal with the infidelities. And the girls were like, what? And Britani tried to speak. Angie goes, quiet. Quiet. Now, how did she find out? She goes to tell us that Gwen found him texting another girl on his iPad. And she retracts it later on and says it wasn't cheating. It was inappropriate communications with another female. I'm going to say it was sexting. That way both things are true at the same time. But that's just my opinion. That's just my thoughts. I believe it was sexting. I don't know what it was. Now, Bronwyn's giving us her I'm just like you guys speech. She's saying, this is a fatal flaw. And it's not a flaw, babe. She said this is maybe just the way that he knows how to love me and can love me at the capacity that he can love. Yikes. I don't love that for you, honey. I don't love that for you. I really don't love that for you. But if that's what makes you happy, I guess. Then it looks like the ladies are all rallying around her, giving her words of advice and encouragement, Heather and all of that. But Lisa and Meredith are really taking a quite interesting position here, because it seems like they're taking Todd's side and questioning the things that Bronwyn is saying. So Meredith is sticking up for Todd and saying, well, maybe he has his own... Meredith is saying she didn't go through the same situation. They were trying to say that Meredith, went through something similar. She didn't go through the same situation. She had her own pitfalls, and her and Seth had to redefine their relationship. But say what you will about this conversation, the girls really break down and have a truly deep conversation. And we get a really interesting nod from production. Thank you. We get off the boat and Lisa is just being as two-faced as her, telling Bronwyn, I am a great friend to you, to her face. Because Lisa gets off the boat 2 seconds after telling Bronwyn how great of a friend she is to her and goes to Angie, that was interesting. Don't you think so? And Angie goes, yeah, I feel bad for her. And she goes, oh, yeah. Clearly not getting the same response that she was expecting to get from Angie and wanting to get from Angie. And so, Lisa, who's the fake friend? Just saying. We get back to the hotel and the girls are eating. We're split apart. And it's Lisa and Britani and Meredith. And this is the group that Lisa has the connection with and can talk the shit with, because she goes, they start talking about the conversation on the boat. And they just talk about how emotionally awkward it was. And you can tell that they're all feeling the same kind of tinge, right? And then Britani starts saying, I feel closer to Meredith now. How are you feeling, Meredith? You were so quiet. Are you nauseous? Are you sick? Are you anything? Brittany's prying for information. And then with Whitney and Angie and Bronwyn, Whitney and Angie asked Bronwyn how she's feeling after that conversation. And, she's feeling like, call her crazy, but even as she was explaining her point, she was just like, I don't think she was listening. And Whitney goes, yeah, she just doesn't know how to listen. They're talking about Lisa. And then Angie says, I think there's just something there between Bronwyn and Lisa. There's just something that you two, you just don't agree on. And she's saying it and she's just doing enough to make her uncomfortable, but not be overtly about it. Now we're back to Heather. Oh, that was a commercial break. So we're talking about it, and Heather walks in on the conversation where Bronwyn is just like, yeah, you guys were supportive about me, but Meredith and Lisa, I felt like were not being as supportive as I was hoping they would be. And this is the conversation that Heather walks in on. And then they go, oh, yeah, Heather, come on in. Anyways, like I was saying, she just feels like Meredith said maybe that's all Todd can do. And she just feels like they're just defending him after she was trying to be vulnerable to them, and they're defending the cheater in him. And Whitney goes, yeah, because they're both accused of cheating, so they have to defend the cheater because they clearly are hit dogs hollering. And then Bronwyn says, and it goes deeper between me and Lisa. It's not just this, but it's the thing with Gwen and her grandparents and how Lisa keeps telling us how great the grandparents are. And Whitney is saying, yeah, she has a hard time going below the surface. And Angie just keeps reiterating that there's just something going on between the two of you. And now we get Mary arriving. And so Mary walks in and it enters the room with Meredith, Britani, and Lisa first. And they're like, oh, Mary, hey, girl, how come you couldn't join us for the day before? And Mary literally goes, oh, well, I just had a thing and then I didn't come. And then now I'm here. I'm here now. Not answering the question at all. Love that for her. And so then she's walking down the hallway and Heather is literally running up to her like her and Heather are best friends, and she's hugging her, and Mary's just like, and then we get her getting her view of her room, very nice suite, very nice room, and then she gets she starts looking for Angie. She's like, where's Angie? And we get her reuniting with Angie without saying any words, without saying anything. They look at each other, they hug each other, and all the words and expressions were said just in everything that they did right in there. The excitement when they saw each other, the happiness that you're here, I'm here, you're here, I hear you, you hear me, and that's all that needed to be said. I liked it. It was good. It felt good to watch, All right. In my notes, I said, I love Angie's dinner outfit because we're getting ready to go to dinner now. All right, so we get to dinner, and I'm like, why is there a big-ass VIDA tequila bottle in the back of the thing? But it's a VIDA tequila party. So how many VIDA tequila parties are we going to have for Lisa? I don't know. Part of me feels like she's writing them off. I don't know. Oops. But, now we're drinking tequila, and Mary has not gotten her food. They keep forgetting to bring Mary her food. I hope they brought her food by the time I started recording this. But she gets the name of her soup wrong. She asked for a pastrami soup, and I think it was like a split pea soup. I can see how you could say pastrami from split pea if you were high. And then Britani asked Meredith, how is she feeling? And, Meredith, I'm good. And she goes, well, I hope because I heard you crying last night. And Meredith is extremely short with her and goes, thank you for your concern. And Bronwyn goes, well, I feel like we should be more concerned and you should speak up a little more because I've heard that it was severe. And, for it to get all the way to me, it must have been something. You were violently crying or something like that. And so we get that Britani told Heather, who told Angie, who then told Bronwyn. And so Meredith goes, okay, well, since it's this big game of telephone, let me clear it up. No, I did not throw up. Yes, I was crying. Yes, I was crying. I was so upset about the slut shaming. You get Mary in the background going, can we stop talking about vomiting? I'm trying to eat. Like, that's so uncouth. And actually, she's so very right. I grew up saying you couldn't say anything at the dinner table that was not dinner related, okay? But In my notes, I wrote, bitch, if you don't stop lying. Because Meredith tells us I was crying about the slut shaming. The first thing I said is, bitch, if you do not stop lying. Anyways, Angie asks if she feels resolved, and Lisa chimes in to the conversation. And Angie says, I thought we agreed to stay out of each other's beefs. And Lisa's like, we did, but I'm just trying to, but no, you're interjecting, and now we finna go back and forth. So Angie and Lisa start going back and forth. And Lisa starts telling Angie, well, I don't know what you want from me. And Angie says, are you going to just keep egging this on? And then Lisa says, what are you going to do? And Angie says, well, maybe I'll take a little page out of your book and lunge at you. And they keep trying to tell Angie that, Angie, you're going too far. Angie, you're going too far. That's Meredith's whole point. But fuck you, Meredith, you don't do enough. Angie said, you keep getting in the middle. And Lisa, you keep getting in the middle. And Lisa is like, do you feel like a badass standing up to me? And Lisa starts telling Angie that I think you start things. I think you started this. I think you start things. But honestly, at this table, Meredith started this conversation because it could have been a conversation. But instead, Meredith doesn't know how to have a fucking conversation with anybody. She's always so damn defensive and the victim. And you can't ever talk anything through with her. You can't get her to understand anything you're telling her. It's all about her and her bathroom and her. It's really hard, it seems like, to have a conversation with her. I'm like starting to really not like Meredith. So Whitney chimes into this conversation, and it's everybody talking at Lisa now, and says, you don't allow your friends to have their feelings, and they can't express to you when they have certain feelings. And while Whitney's message is correct, wrong messenger, Whitney. Nobody wants to hear that from you. No one wants to hear that from you. Okay? Get out of here with that. Nobody wants to hear that from you. And so, because Whitney, you will start a rumor on somebody in no time. And you have done that to Lisa so many times. So Lisa just especially doesn't want to hear that from you. So then all the ladies start chiming in, and then Bronwyn chimes in, and then Lisa specifically points to Bronwyn, goes, I'll get to you later. And Bronwyn takes offense to that. And it's just like, why you always put me on the back burner, huh? How come you can come at all these other girls, but you're going to put me on the back burner? It's come to me later, like I'm just going to sit around and wait for you to be there. And out of Lisa's mouth comes, it's always an issue with you. And Bronwyn says it's not always a new issue with me. It's always the same issue that you keep trying to sweep under a rug and won't let me finish getting out with you. And Lisa's going to sit at this table and tell Bronwyn, I've been a good friend to you. And I'm just looking for the clips of Lisa being a good friend to Bronwyn, because I ain't seen it. And in my notes, I have, Angie call her out. Because Angie says, I know more about Bronwyn's marriage and life than I know about yours. And that's just a testament to how open she's been in the group. And Lisa takes offense and goes, Angie, whose side are you on right now? And Angie goes, I'm not saying this to like hurt you or anything. You're guarded. You're more guarded. And she's just more open with us. And I just don't think you should be ignoring what she's trying to say. Now Lisa can't believe that Angie is saying this to her face, sticking up for Bronwyn in front of her face and not sticking up for Lisa. And Lisa, you are guarded. You're literally spending this entire conversation at the end of this episode where everybody is just trying to tell you that, can you sit, listen, be open, and hear your friends trying to tell you that you're not an open person and you don't listen to us when we tell you something. And a hit dog a holla, because she is screaming as she walks away from the table saying, I am done. I'm not going to do this anymore. You guys are just not going to come for me anymore at my own party. I'm leaving. And as she's leaving, exits the party, Mary turns to the camera and goes, what happened to dessert? Is it here? Because, Mary just got here, so she's going to enjoy her first night in Puerto Vallarta. you know? But that was the episode. Thank y'all so much. It's about to be a new year. I'm going to get this edited and out because, well, it's only 38 minutes. So I can get this edited and out in no time. I'm going to get this edited and out today, Monday, December 30th. So you have this before the new year. And then on tomorrow, we can do a little New Year's countdown of my favorite songs on my recap this year. So thank y'all for tuning in. Happy New Year. Happy blessed day. I love all my new subscribers. This shout out is for you. You guys have me ending the year at 256, 257. If that one person stops playing games with me, come on back. But thank y'all so much for joining me at the end of my ride of 2024, and I can't wait to take you on my journey in 2025. This is your favorite Curly Space Cadet, and she's out because she's got to go check her collard greens. Bye.